Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. I am so excited for a number of reasons. This is my first singles video, and as always, I'm going to start with Aries because I like to start at the beginning of the zodiac. And I may be releasing this by elemental, so I will probably be doing fire signs first, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And for this singles reading, we're going to be concentrating on abundance and career. I'm getting more and more readings from people who want to talk about their career, who want to talk about doing things in life that is more to do with their own passion. More and more people are wanting to make money to then put into charity. Everyone I'm talking to has ultimate goal oftentimes is to do some kind of charitable work, and I think that this is really a strong indication of the Aquarian age that we're coming into. Yes, there are a lot of growing pains. Yes, there has been a lot of turmoil, a lot of fear, a lot of upheaval, but there is always that kind of turmoil that comes before the dawning of a really long age of enlightenment, right? So in any case, I'm going to be doing this reading with my new Cosmic Tarot deck, which I absolutely love. And so let's get right into it, my lovely Aries. The way we're going to approach this is we're going to pull out animal spirits, all right? And I'm going to pull out two animal spirits for you. And this reading is going to be, and this is a reading for people who are single, all right? And it's a specific reading for people who are single because a lot of readings are not specifically geared to singles. And even when we do, sometimes when we do general readings, right, a lot of times the issue of relationships comes into that, or abundance readings, the issues of relationships comes into that. Here we're going to be looking at abundance and career for singles. Now, if a relationship issue comes up, if that's the message, then that's the message, right? But the focus, our initial focus, as we are getting into the reading and as I'm shuffling, is going to be on those of you Aries who are single, right? Who are single and who for the most part are not looking for love, because this is not a reading about looking for love. This is a reading about abundance and career, right? So this is the energy that we're going to go into it with. This is the energy I'm going to approach the cards with, so that it can give me the correct message. A lot of times with tarot and with oracle cards, you really have to think about your question, or think about framing the question or the intention with which you are approaching the tarot, because the messages that come through are just as much about the question that you've asked as they are about the actual answer, right? All right, guys, Aries, we're going to pull out your two animal spirits. This is going to be a reading for March. And so this is an abundance outlook reading for March for a single Aries, all right? So your first card is the fox. First animal spirit for you is the fox. Very nice. And your second animal spirit is the buffalo. Wow. So very nice, because first and foremost, Aries, when we talk about a abundance reading, a career reading, right? We're talking about earth, right? And these are two earth elemental spirits, right? Now, let's just take a moment before I pull out your cards. Let's just take a moment to look at these two animal spirits. The fox. The fox is extremely clever, right? The fox is very, very clever. He's quite strategic, right? But it's not even so much that he plans per se, right? But he is able to sort of figure out a situation very quickly. He's very keen, he's very keen insight to a situation. He gets to the heart of the matter. Another thing with the fox is that foxes are generally very charming, right? And so Aries, this is one of your traits, your ability to be charming. So, let's think about that in terms of the spirit of the fox coming into your life this March with regard to your career, your business, or your abundance, right? This feeling of being very practical, very wise, very clever, very keen, right? Very insightfully keen, right? And also using his ability to charm, right? To be, you know, around people. Wily like the fox. Fox energy, the spirit of the fox can really allow you to sort of interact with a lot of people, can really bring people over to your side because you are charming. And of course, that is always like a good trait to have when you're dealing with the world of the material, when we're dealing with the earthly plane, right? Which is where we want to make our abundance, right? Where we want our career to pick up. It is always good to be able to interact with people because you can't have abundance in this world without interacting with someone. Now, the buffalo is also an earth elemental spirit, and the buffalo is an extremely beautiful spirit. It is absolutely the synergy between heaven and earth. The buffalo has a divine sort of heavenly presence, a wisdom, a connection to the spirit that is very profound and very long-reaching. Yet he is also connected to the earth. So strong, so practical. The one thing with the buffalo is that the buffalo looks at every single opportunity, and especially difficult opportunities, troubles, difficult paths that he may have to walk. He looks at times like that as opportunities for transcendence, right? He looks at difficult times in his life as opportunities for transcendence. And so the buffalo has also one of these very rare sort of abilities to just not fear anything. He doesn't fear death or sickness. He doesn't fear poverty. He doesn't fear anything that is associated with the earthly plane. Although he is such a strong earthly creature, right, earth spirit, he doesn't fear any of those things because of his deep connection to the heavens. Because of his deep connection to his spirit, he understands that all of that is just a basis by which he can transcend it, right? He understands that he can transcend his earthly sort of ties, his earthly experience, and that he can get something more out of it. You know, that's what we mean by transcendence. It's being able to get something more out of a situation, something deeper, something higher, something more out of it because of the experience or because of an understanding, right? Or a connection, some kind of energy connection, right? And so this is the thing with the buffalo spirit. And so this is why it's such a lovely, lovely spirit to come in for you. And certainly for an abundance reading, right? Because this means that you are able to face whatever's coming your way this month, right? Aries, you're able, whatever troubles are coming your way, you're able to face them. You have this confidence, right? You don't fear it. You know you can transcend it. And then you have this energy of the fox as well working with you. Now, let's get right into your spread with this beautiful Cosmic Tarot deck. I love this deck. I hope you enjoy it too. It's going to be a little different than usual. I wanted to get a new deck for you guys because it is a singles reading, and it was specifically for, you know, to answer the request. By the way, if you watched my poll, thank you so much. If you answered it and a reply, thank you so much for taking part. This is a direct sort of, this videos and this series of 12 videos I'm going to be putting out over the weekend are a direct response to that poll, to, you know, your requests. So I hope you enjoy it. All right, Aries, for March, we're talking about a single Aries. We're talking about an independent Aries out there, right? Let's think of it as an independent Aries who is looking at their career and their abundance for March. I do apologize. It's taking a little longer to shuffle because it is a new deck and I want to make sure. All right, Aries. My independent Aries for March. Let's see what's going on. All right, we have for you at the center the Devil, covered with 9 of Wands. We have the King of Swords and the Princess of Pentacles. Hold this up a little bit. Beautiful. Coming in, we have the Hanged Man, and coming out of this period, we have Three of Cups. All right, I do apologize for the background noise. I always say this, you know, I live on the East Coast, and it's like impossible to get a reading that doesn't have some kind of noise in it, so sorry about that. All right, guys, beautiful. Now, this is a simplified Celtic spread. We're going to get clarifiers on it, so this is why I made a simplified spread, because I don't want this reading to be too long for you guys. All right, bottom of the deck, we have an Eight of Wands. So that is interesting, right? Eight of Wands is usually the viral card, right? It's the card for a lot of information coming in. And when we're talking about an abundance reading, Aries, it is generally or certainly abundance, career, or business, right? It can indicate a lot of info, or it can indicate a lot of attention suddenly coming in. Something may be going viral, right? All right, let's get right into it. So at the center of your reading, Aries, we have, see, these cards are so new. Sorry about that. We have the Devil and the Nine of Wands. All right, so the Devil, of course, is interesting for an abundance reading for you, Aries, because it's like, all right, there may be some sort of triggers coming your way, right? There's two ways this can go. Remember this is the thing with the Devil. It is a card for Capricorn, but that's neither here nor there. The Devil is, you know, even as you see him there, it's like there's two sides to him, because he can excel and transcend just as much as sort of descend. You know, with the tarot, the Devil is not the sort of same outside force that we look at from like a Christian Judaic kind of idea of evil, right? The Devil is associated with our creative energies, like how we want to express ourselves creatively, right? Oftentimes when we are sort of connecting our creative desires, our passions, to a higher purpose, right? To a higher goal, right? Like a business goal, or like, you know, creating something that means something, like a piece of art, right? A piece of music, right? That, you know, that passion, which comes from the same place, you know, as our Kundalini energy, that is sort of our sexual passion as well, can transcend. And this is when we can create, you know, incredible things. Now, when we don't sort of connect this energy to something higher, or a higher purpose, a higher goal, a higher aesthetic, we still feel the need to express ourselves creatively. We still want that satisfaction, right? Because there's a satisfaction associated with it. Just because these energies, right? They are all associated with the second chakra, which is where the genitals are, our reproductive organs are, and that's why our sexual desires and passions are completely sort of intertwined with our creative desires. Sex and creativity go kind of hand in hand. I mean, you need one to make a baby, which is the ultimate example of creativity, right? Creating a life. So there's this, you know, with the tarot, when we look at the Devil, we look at the Devil representing all of that sort of energy, right? The energy that comes from that place. It can be highly creative, highly sexually charged, or it can also descend into addiction, codependency, instant gratification. You know, that's what addiction is. It's instant gratification. And so here, when we talk about Aries, you being fulfilled with your career, the Devil comes in to remind you that you can go two ways, right? It's all about whether or not you are connecting your creative desire to something higher, or if you are sort of taking the easy route of instant gratification, right? And so this is all about sort of a power struggle in a lot of ways. You know, do you take the hard route, which takes a lot of work, you know, slogging away? Your satisfaction doesn't necessarily come as quickly because you have to work for it, and that is the way of sort of aspiring to something higher. Or do you sort of like lapse and go the easy route, which is instant gratification, which ultimately leads you into sort of difficult business relationships, right? Relationships that don't work out, relationships that might be codependent, that are toxic to a certain degree. So this is really all about you deciding which way you want to go. You have a Nine of Wands. And Nine of Wands can indicate really sort of like having your vision in front of you, right? You have a vision for your life, but you're really coming out of a difficult period, right? And it can be, for some of you, it could very well be an issue with money, right? It could be that you have recently come out of a difficult period. Nine of Wands indicates a really long road, a difficult road, a road of a lot of burdens that you've been carrying, but also realizing that you're just about at the end of that. You're almost at a 10. You're almost ready to lay it down. You just need to have a little bit more energy. You just need to have a little bit more sort of, just buck up your courage and just pull that last little bit of energy to get through the last stage of this hurdle, the last hurdle, I would say, of this stage, right? That's what Nine of Wands is. It's like that last sort of period of ending a long period of struggling. Now, an example is, for instance, if Aries, with this Devil card, say for instance you're an entertainer, you're in the area of creative arts, right? And you've been struggling for a long time, right? And now, all of a sudden, with this Devil energy coming in, for instance, there may be an opportunity for you to cut some corners, or there may be an opportunity for some instant gratification in a particular area that you've been trying to, like, reach a certain achievement for, right? Or there could just be other sort of temptations, It could be that you're starting to make a little bit of money, right? That you're starting to have a little bit of fame. And you could then also have some other temptations that are coming in. That could be Devil energy as well, right? And so the Nine of Wands would indicate, like, are you able to sort of, still stay the course because you haven't quite reached your destination? Or are you going to be distracted by the fact that you're having a little bit of success now, you're making a little bit of more money now, there's other temptations in your life right now, right? This is the energy that we're talking about, right? And this is the choice that you have in March if you're resonating with this reading. You are almost at the finish line, right, of the end of the real struggle for achieving, reaching your achievement. And there's going to be some tests in the way that may pull you off of that road. So be very careful. Remember, you have the buffalo. The spirit of the buffalo is with you. And the spirit of the buffalo is enduring, and he keeps going, right? He also is connected to his higher self. He has that higher divine wisdom. He has that heavenliness about himself, where he has a sense of there's a profound wisdom with the spirit of the buffalo, and this is what you need to implore with yourself this month with March, right? Make sure you sort of tap into the spirit of the buffalo and that wisdom and experience so that the devil energy doesn't pull you away. Remember, I always go into the devil a little bit deeper because I don't want people to sort of villainize the devil like we normally would. The devil energy in tarot in and of itself is not evil or a villain. It is an internal battle that we all have with ourselves to either allow ourselves to descend into what's easy and instant, or to work harder and rise above and transcend. It's all part of the same coin, and it all comes from our desire to want to express ourselves, right? And so this is your center, King of Swords and Princess of Pentacles. So in your conscious mind, you are being very focused this month. You're seeking to have a lot of clarity, right? You're being very single-minded. This is very sort of balanced energy in a lot of ways. Of course, you have to sign for Libra there. King of Swords is associated with Libra. And things are very sort of balanced for you in a lot of ways. Now, the King of Swords can oftentimes, he's associated with being the rule maker and the disciplinarian, right? He's associated with the sort of judge and jury in a lot of ways, right? You can be a little bit overly strict. You can be a little bit overly sort of critical with that King of Swords. Just take care. But yet, and still, this month is calling on you. You are feeling, even in and of yourself, that you're requiring sort of like brute honesty from people, right? You're not tolerating any sort of wishy-washiness, any sort of fakeness. I want to say that this could be a reading, Aries, for some of you out there who are indeed in a career field or an area where there may be a little bit of fame associated with it or attention. You are a charmer. That spirit of the fox is there. So it could very well be that you are a charmer. You are a very public personality. It could be that you get along very well, you know, in that way. Because King of Swords, it's interesting that King of Swords will come out like that, you know. Because I want to say that in a lot of ways, you are right now really trying to sort of like make sure that the people around you are trustworthy or honest. And a lot of times that can come out in that type of field. Also, Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands, like I said earlier, can indicate like going viral depending on what you're doing, right? And so here it could very well be that part of the success that starts to come in and that starts to tempt you down a different road with that devil energy is the fact that you are gaining some attention. You may be getting a lot of people coming at you because they're realizing who you are, or notoriety is beginning to come in. But the one thing with Eight of Wands is to put boundaries in place, Aries. So remember to do that. Set boundaries, because you can't just let everything in. You know, that's what we call opening up. You know, don't let them open your nose up. You know, it's like you could get really caught up. Now, Princess of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck, and at the bottom of your spread, which indicates what's in the back of your mind. So yes, in the front of your mind, you're being very severe with people. You're being very strong. I think you don't want to show any weakness, but in the back of your mind with Princess of Pentacles, you're really thinking about just being very practical, right? You realize that this is going to just take a lot of hard work, right? There's a lot of hard work involved. Princess of Pentacles is all about sort of understanding that, you know, to get the garden going and to have it grow what you want, you have to work at it every single day. You have to just get it. You know what I'm saying? You have to just be very practical. And this is going to be something that is very much in line with that spirit of the fox, because the spirit of the fox is very practical, very capable, able to sort of handle any situation, come up with a solution to any situation, and just really attacks problems. And this is what you're going to be doing this month in this area. Again, I feel this is a reading for someone whose career is artistic in nature, and it's going to be involving a lot more attention this month. After a period, certainly after a period of not having struggled quite a bit. Now, Hangman energy and Three of Cups is what you get. Oh, sorry about that. Dropped the card. Hangman energy and Three of Cups. So you've been, this is the energy you're coming into the month with, and Three of Cups is the energy you come out of the month with. And can I just take a moment to say how beautiful these cards are? Aren't they gorgeous? So Hangman energy is this really kind of like sleepy energy. It's like, look, I'm chilling, you know. And I love this Hangman because this one really gets it right. Because he's not stuck. Oftentimes, a lot of times, Hangman is interpreted as being stuck. But here you can see absolutely he isn't stuck. He's just hanging there with one foot because he can. He's doing it because he can. And that's really the attitude. But the thing is, whenever the Hangman card shows up in a reading, this is also why we always have that halo of enlightenment around his head. Because when the Hangman shows up, it indicates that you are awakening. Right? That now you are awakened. Wherever you were at before, regardless of stuck or wanting to be there or just being lazy or not wanting to make an effort to move, regardless of why you were in that space kind of for a while, not progressing, because that's the nature of the space before the Hanged Man. He's just simply not progressing. Now that the card has come into your reading, you are awakened, you're wide open and wide awake, and you're ready to move forward. And a lot of you will be having this awakening in March and understanding about your career, right? You may be realizing that to a certain degree, it could be that some of this devil energy coming in for you is because to a certain degree, you may have not been as present as you should have been in the progress of your career. Certainly if you do something creative, it could very well be like, you know, sometimes when you're the creator or you're in a career that's very creative, it's like you're busy creating shit, right? But there's two components to a career like that. You know, there's the creative side and then there's the business and the career and everything that goes into it, right? And sometimes we don't do both things. And it could be that you were just being very lax in one area. whatever area that is, you're waking up to it now, whether it's the business side or the creative side. You're waking up to, I want to say it's the business side to a certain degree, because with this King of Swords, it feels like you're coming right back into the business side with like, all right, I might have been away, not watching out for a while, but I'm back now, and what's going on? You know, what's going on with this, and this, right? So it feels like that to me. But again, it's quite interesting that this will come in. It's like, you know, now that you're putting more effort in, you're certainly putting more effort into the business side. It could very well be that for a long time you were just busy creating, you know, just whatever it is that you create as part of your career. If you are an artist of some kind, a painter, a sculptor, a singer, a writer, if you know, if you're an inventor, you know, whatever it is, there's so many different fields that can be considered artistic. Whatever the case may be, that you were busy with very much that creative side. You're coming out of this period with Three of Cups. Now, Three of Cups is interesting because, again, this is a reading for an independent Aries, meaning a single Aries who's really not concerned about her love connection right now, but wants to know about their business, their abundance, and career. Yet you do come out of this March period with a Three of Cups, which is a bonding. There is going to be a bonding. And so when we see this in connection with an abundance reading or career reading, it means that there will be a bonding with someone that will impact your career in some way, right? That is somehow either coming out of what you're going to be doing in your career sort of area of your life. This kind of bonding will either come out of it or be as a result of it. You may run into someone. This could even be with old friends. You may reconnect with old friends. But the purpose of this coming into this type of reading is to let you know that there is a personal bond that you're making, that you are increasing or maybe recommitting to in March, that will be important to the progress of your career. It will be important to the progress, to your energy, right? And to the energy that is needed for you to progress your career in the right way, in some way, right? Whether this turns into a love connection, because Three of Cups is not necessarily a romantic connection or a love connection. 3 is the number for bonding and loyalty. And it is simply a connection that you have with somebody or a group of people. It can be a group of people, it can be one person. It can, you know, it's just a connection you have with somebody where you recommit your loyalty, you recommit your trust. You can see these two are dancers here, right? It's quite obvious that she looks like she's a dancer. She has her dance slippers on, right? And he looks like a dancer, right? You ever see a ballet, right? Or two people dancing. It isn't necessarily sure that they're in a love connection. The sensuality, though, is there. Or not even necessarily so much sensuality, but the trust is there, right? The trust. And that brings a certain amount of closeness and affection, right? The trust is there. When you see two ballerinas, a ballerina and I guess they're both called ballerinas. And I forget what the male ballerina is called. It's certainly not a ballerina. But when you see the two dancers together, there is there is a hint of perhaps romance, but that is what they're trying to express in the dance, right? So this is, you would say this is very sort of sex neutral. Three of Cups is a sex neutral card, right? It doesn't matter if there's sex involved. It is about the bond. It is about the trust. And so this is why I love the imagery on this card, because two dancers, there is a level of trust there that you have to trust them to hold you, to catch you, to throw you, to create this story together through the dance, through the medium of dance. And so the level of trust there is very, very immense. And it is also a card of creativity and bonding. I love the imagery there. All right, guys. So let me just pull out a couple of clarifiers for you. I know the reading is getting a little bit longer, but again, this is my first singles reading, and I'm only going to be doing this one single series per month, which is about career and abundance. So I want to give you guys something that lasts a bit. All right. And my regulars know I always clarify with the Thoth deck. If you want to see the unboxing for the Cosmic Tarot, you can just go to the link in the description. I did do an unboxing for this, and I may decide to give one of these away for my next tarot deck giveaway. But I'm not going to talk about it until I'm done with the current tarot deck giveaway, because I'm currently giving away a deck on my site. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Show me Aries, March, career abundance. My independent Aries, show me. Prince of Swords, the Magician, there you go. You can do it. Princess of Discs shows up again, and guess what comes out over the Three of Cups? The Three of Cups. I love it. Bottom of the deck, we have Six of Swords. So yes, like-minded people, harmony. You're going to be coming towards the end of the month. Again, I want to say for some of you who are indeed in a field, here, let's see if I can move this over to the other side, who are indeed and maybe in a creative field, right? That where you know a lot of people, people know you. Like I said, you may have some fame, right? It is important. One of the important things in that area of life when you have a career like that is that you do always have to be vigilant about your connections. You do have to always be careful about, you know, the decisions you make and who you decide to trust and who you allow in, and, you know, making sure that you enforce your boundaries and all of that. You know, let me just move this a little bit so it's a bit straight, guys. You know how much I hate it when it's off. There we go. And so it's interesting. Look what comes in to clarify for you. So Prince of Swords and King of Swords, right? Prince of Swords is the same as the Knight, and this is definitely a feeling of clearing house, cleaning house. I think for some of you, you may have indeed been coming out of a dark, you know, it may have been a difficult period because you may have not been paying attention, right? You may not have been paying attention to the people around you, the people that you hire, the people that you trust, and things may have gotten quite toxic for a little while. And again, like I said earlier, Nine of Wands indicates a feeling of having come out of a long period of kind of struggle, a burden, carrying baggage. Now, it could be that this baggage could have sent you down a track where you weren't paying attention, you know, or it could be just an extra pressure that was somehow impacting your decision-making process. Whatever the case may be, it feels like now that you're awake, it's like you're cleaning house. It could be, for instance, like, you know, maybe you weren't paying attention to the business finances, and now you realize all of a sudden people have been taking a lot of your money, right? Maybe you haven't been paying, you know what I mean? Maybe you haven't been paying attention to a certain side of your business, and rather than people taking money, you're just not making as much as you should. Or maybe there are other obstacles that are really sort of keeping you from your ultimate goal, right? It could be that maybe you're not at that level where you have a lot of people working for you yet, or you're that famous, or you have that much abundance coming in just yet. You haven't, maybe you haven't reached that just yet, but again, the reasons will be because maybe you haven't put that effort in, right? Maybe you haven't put that foot forward. And so now you're waking up in March. Like I said, King of Swords and Prince of Swords is really sort of forward, like, look, I'm here. I'm going to, you know, I have clarity. My mind is wide open. I need nothing but honesty. I need to know what's going on. You're coming up with plans to overcome obstacles that have been in your way. Certainly there is a waking up, and there's definitely a coming out of a period of struggle, I want to say. Some of you may have indeed even been in a period of addiction that had impacted your career, and now that you're coming out of that addiction, you're ready to attack it. Could very well be that. This Nine of Wands for some of you could have been, you may have had to, you know, had to stay in rehab for a little while, or you may have had a road of addiction for a little while that took a little while for you to sort of get over, and you're almost at the end of that road, but your career, your business require your immediate attention. And so you may not be able to sort of finish off that, you know, and in any situation, you may not be able to sort of just finish off that last stage of what you're coming out of with a nice neat bow, but this is all part of it. You have to remain true. Don't let this devil energy tempt you too much, because there is a lot to deal with. Buffalo, Spirit of the Buffalo is letting you know that there, you know, the difficult terrain, you are transcending it, but you definitely have to be awake. Princess of Discs come in. There's Princess of Discs, right? So we've got that doubled up. Again, hard work. You realizing that the hard work is what's necessary, right? The day-to-day hard work, the day-to-day presence, being very present and there. This is what, you can see with the imagery here as well. She has her staff sort of pointed down in the ground. She's pregnant with the idea of possibilities there, the potential, and the focus is there. And this is what we talk about, the need to be present and aware and there every day. But the Magician comes out to clarify that you got this, right? This feels very much like an Aries who may have taken time off or got caught taking time off from really pushing hard their career. Because they can. You're so used to having such a high level of talent, Aries, that sometimes you play with fire by letting things go or being a little slack, because you can come back later and pick up the pieces and fix it up again. But don't keep playing with fire like that. Okay? Because yes, you are the Magician. Yes, you do have the talent, the charm, the ability to always bring it back from the brink, right? Bring it back from the brink. If the business has been suffering because you haven't been quite aware or you haven't been quite there, you've been busy off creating or partying, whichever way, right? Or just not being available. Yes, you are strong enough and talented enough to, to always, when you do come back into the fray, to take care of it and bring it back. But sometimes there will be circumstances beyond your control. You may not be able to do that. And of course, we have the Three of Cups coming out over the Three of Cups. I love this. Just reminds me that this cosmic deck is so in line with my Thoth deck as well. I absolutely adore this. So just confirms to you that the abundance in personal bonding and relationships is coming in. This is the card for abundance, but we say here the card for emotional abundance, right? The ability, again, like I say, bonding and loyalty. Sometimes Three of Cups can mean coming together with your tribe, your people, your social group, right? In either case, it is a bonding with certain people and friends. Interesting. Six of Swords talks about like-minded friends and deciding to be around people who have the same mentality as you, who have the same idea for their lives as what it is that you want to do with your life, right? The same focus, the same solidarity in a lot of ways. And it's funny because this reminds me of the Sword and the Rose, because right in the deep center there is a rose in the center of that cross. The Sword and Rose is a feeling of solidarity and having sort of an agreed sort of focus, an agreed sort of philosophy that you stand behind, right, about life. Could be a lot of you will be cleaning house and realizing that you want to change the type of people you want around you, and that you want the type of people that you can bond. Because again, everybody is nowadays is working towards having a higher level of engagement with their friends, with their businesses, a higher level of accountability. People are seeking to be more honest and have more integrity. People are seeking to give back more to the world, to the planet, to work with charities. People are seeking to be much more with like-minded individuals and to have a bond with rather a smaller group of like-minded individuals than to be everything to everyone and sort of compromise themselves. And this is a reading for you in that vein, Aries, for March, for my lovely single independent Aries out there. I believe, like I say, who's coming back into the side of their lives to take back control, to wake back up, to clean house. And ultimately what will be coming out of March will be an abundance of personal relationships as a result of this. I think the career is already there. You just have to, it's kind of taking, it's like fine tuning right now. It could be stepping up right now with this viral card. Or it could be a career that has had some longevity, but it has gone down a bit and now you're bringing it back up, right? In either case, there is an increase in progress. And ultimately, what's coming out of all of this is a change, I think, of the type of people you're going to have around you, supporting you, and helping you emotionally. Your friendship levels are going to increase and bond further. Your loyalty is going to increase and bond further, but with the right people. And so that is just going to impact your abundance and ability to gain abundance going forward. Very, very nice reading. Don't forget, you're going to be the charmer this month. All right, guys, did you enjoy it? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Cosmic Tarot deck. I love it. I hope you love it. I think this is a nice grouping of cards. The Thoth deck, the Cosmic, and the beautiful Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. I think it's perfect, and I think These 3 decks is what I'm going to be relying on from now on for your singles readings. All right, but let me know what you think in the comments. All right, and if you want to get a private reading, go ahead and follow that link at the top of your screen. Private readings, if you're outside the US and you're trying to book a private reading, you have any problems whatsoever, please just email me. I do readings with people in Africa all the time, in Australia, Canada, and for some reason there's certain places in the world that have difficulty with the international telephone number, so that's not a problem. All you have to do is email me, and we will manually schedule it. And private readings are usually scheduled for the next day. Like, I don't book readings out by weeks and weeks and weeks, you know. It's just like I have time the next day, I book you in the next day. All right, guys, but for right now, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful March month of abundance and career progression, and I will see you in the following month for your abundance and career outlook. Bye-bye now.